Bam! A star is born.
Well, that's not really how it goes. Our own sun took approximately 30,000 years to reach the stage it's in now. But before we get to that, let's go back to where all stars begin.
Most stars form from clouds of the remnants of old stars. These clouds consist mostly of hydrogen. The clouds also contain a small amount of carbon monoxide, which serves to keep the clouds cool.
Clouds start to form separate bodies due to gravity. These sections of the cloud begin to contract. The dust and molecules pack closer and closer together, and thermal energy begins to build from the inside.
Once pressure builds up in a fragment and the surrounding gas is blown away by the stellar winds, you end up with a star-like object called a protostar. Temperature and luminosity increases as the protostar collects more and more matter. Protostars can only be seen using infrared telescopes.
Contraction continues until the core reaches the temperature required for nuclear fusion. Contraction comes to an end when the core fusion releases enough energy to match the energy radiated from the surface. The protostar has now become a main sequence star.
So there you have it. Bam! Star is born. Now here are a few interesting variations of the process. When the first stars in the universe were forming, the conditions were different than when stars form now. Carbon and oxygen were not yet around back then, and with no carbon monoxide to provide cooling, these stars were much warmer, never cooling below 100 Kelvin. These stars were much more massive in order for gravity to overcome the thermal pressure, making stars of around 100 times the mass of the Sun.
Some objects never acquire enough mass to reach the core temperatures required for nuclear fusion. Any object with less than 8/100ths the mass of the Sun will fall into this category. These bodies become what we call brown dwarfs. These can be detected using infrared telescopes. Here you can see the relative size of a brown dwarf in relation to a few other celestial bodies. We hope you found this presentation interesting, and remember, living on Earth might be expensive, but at least you get a free trip around a star every year.